Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Cristo Rey on Facebook Live. We are so excited that you're able to join us this morning. I know some of you have tuned in the last couple of weeks and had a chance to hear from our president, our principal, and our corporate work study director. So I'm thrilled that now it's my turn to share about what I do at Cristo Rey. My name is Katie Yohe and I'm the director of Recruitment and Admissions at Cristo Rey Richmond High School. And so before I get into the specifics of what I want to share with you today, I want to tell you a little bit about how today's program is going to work. I'm going to share about my role, my team's mission, and then I'll go into the specifics about recruitment, our application process, the interview process, and what we're doing, what we used to do, and then how we've had to change things up because of the pandemic that we're all facing. But before I get into that, I want to make sure that I encourage all of you, if I miss something or you have a specific question, please feel free to type in the comments below what you're wondering about Cristo Rey Richmond, specifically about the admissions program. If you have another question for us related to something else, I'm sure we have some other faculty and staff members that are watching, and please feel free, faculty and staff, to answer questions as they come in as well. Before we get started, I do want to begin this Facebook Live Coffee with Cristo Rey in prayer, just like we would do at Cristo Rey and the way we end every day at Cristo Rey. So whether you're religious or not, please feel free to join us. And the prayer that I'm going to share with you today has actually been adopted as our school prayer, and it's attributed to Saint Oscar Romero. So if you would, bow your heads, close your eyes, and open your hearts. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Prophets of a future not our own. The kingdom is not only beyond our efforts, it is even beyond our vision. We accomplish in our lifetime only a tiny fraction of the magnificent enterprise that is God's work. Nothing we do is complete, which is a way of saying that the kingdom always lies beyond us. No statement says all that could be said. No prayer fully expresses our faith. We plant the seeds that one day will grow. We water seeds already planted, knowing that they hold future promise. We cannot do everything, and this enables us to do something and to do it well. It may be incomplete, but it's an opportunity for the Lord's grace to enter and to do the rest. We may never see the end results, but that is the difference between the master builder and the worker. We are workers, not master builders. We are ministers, not messiahs. And we are prophets of a future not our own. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Thank you for joining me in that. Today is actually the National Day of Prayer. It's also Teacher Appreciation Week, so thank you to all the teachers out there. You guys do amazing work. And we have Mother's Day coming up, so there's a lot to celebrate and a lot to be grateful for. So I'm thrilled to be with you this morning. Without further ado, please, if you have coffee to join us this morning, please take a sip. I'm going to be sipping my coffee as we go through today's program. So a little bit about my job at Cristo Rey. I always say I have the best job at Cristo Rey. Not to downplay the amazing work that others are doing, but what my team and I are able to do is we're able to take the magic that is Cristo Rey, the magic that's happening inside of the Cristo Rey walls, and share it with the community. There is no better feeling than meeting with students or families from our community that don't see a better option for an education, that don't have the hope that they deserve, and to be able to tell them about the magic that is Cristo Rey Richmond. And so thankfully, even though we're a brand new school, we have 36 other schools across the Cristo Rey network that we're a part of that we can rely on for help, and we can share data. So even having just freshmen at Cristo Rey, we have data from all the other schools. So when I'm talking about the Cristo Rey magic, I am able to say we are a brand new high school. We're a private, Catholic, college preparatory high school, and we're here for families from low to moderate income. When I'm talking with families and I'm giving my elevator speech, or my team is giving their elevator speeches, we always talk about the two main components of what makes Cristo Rey Cristo Rey. And that is college preparatory academics coupled with a real-world corporate work study experience. what we are able to do in the classroom and what our amazing corporate partners are able to do with our students at some of the top companies in Richmond is what creates that magic. So myself and my two coordinators, who I would love to chat with you about today, unfortunately, because of the current situation, they're unable to join us. But I have the honor and the privilege of working with two of the most amazing enrollment coordinators and bilingual enrollment coordinator that the world has ever seen, I promise you. And so Mr. Tim Timmons, I wish you were here, I miss you, but thank you for the amazing hard work that you do. And Miss Karen Granados, who's our bilingual enrollment coordinator. She also is always hard at work, just like Mr. Timmons, helping me recruit, go through the application process, accompany, and journey with families. And so I want to make sure that all of you out there know, whether you're donors or potential Cristo Rey families, or maybe some of our even newly accepted Cristo Rey families, the work that we do at Cristo Rey, we try to make it accessible, as much accessible as we can for all of the families. And so everything we do is usually in English and Spanish. So instead of just hearing from me today, you're going to have a chance to hear from a little bit from my team, a little bit from our team of students who are helping us recruit. But I want to make sure you see just how much we care about the families that we serve. And so recently, after the pandemic, we had the opportunity to speak with Radio Poder, and so they were able to share the Cristo Rey story, especially for our Spanish-speaking families and community members. So without further ado, here's a look at some of our Spanish advertisements that we're able to do at Cristo Rey Richmond.
Cristo Rey Richmond High School. La escuela secundaria Cristo Rey Richmond es una nueva escuela secundaria preparatoria para la universidad. Estos son los últimos meses para aplicar. La escuela está cerrada, pero Karen Granados está llenando aplicaciones para familias por teléfono. Si eres estudiante del 8º o 9º grado que busca una mejor opción de escuela, llama al 804-592-6330. El modelo de Cristo Rey combina lo académico con un programa de estudios y trabajo en el mundo real. El dinero que los estudiantes ganan con su trabajo pagan la mayor parte de su matrícula. Se espera que las familias contribuyan con una matrícula mensual de $25 a $250 por mes. La cantidad real se basa en el ingreso de cada familia. 100% de los graduados son aceptados en la universidad. Aplica ya. Karen te espera hoy. 804-592-6330. Cristo Rey Richmond High School. Aplicaciones todavía están abiertas. 804-592-6330.
And I hope my excitement here today comes close to what Radio Poder is able to do when they share our message with our Spanish-speaking families in the Richmond area. So again, today I'm going to focus on the recruitment that we do, the application process, the interview process, and how we go about finding our next set of students. And even though the world has changed, our recruitment is still going strong. And so what we used to do no longer works. So to start out here, I'd like to share a little bit about how we used to recruit and what that looks like now in the COVID-19 world. And so when it comes to recruitment, our school, Cristo Rey Richmond, is a little bit different than the other private schools in our city. Most private schools have people knocking on their doors. They've heard about those schools before. They value a quality education. The families that we serve aren't aware that there's an affordable option for them. And so instead of just being the director of admissions, I'm the director of recruitment and admissions, because recruitment is a key part to what we do. Our job is to go out into the community to find those folks that don't know about what Cristo Rey can do for them. And so we have to get creative. In the fall, we focus on visiting the schools that will let us come in and talk to their students. We're going to community events, community festivals. We go to taco trucks. We go to fast food restaurants, libraries. You name it, my team is out there and doing everything they can to spread the word about the amazing work that Cristo Rey is doing and how we are truly one of the greatest opportunities for their families and their students. And so now we can't go visit the schools. There's no community festivals going on. And so we had to get creative. And so I met with my team and we had to adapt to this current situation. And so everything that we do now is really on the phone. It's on social media like today's Facebook Live. And we also rely on our current families and our current students to help us out. Last year when we were recruiting, we didn't have a school. There were a lot of other factors, challenging factors that we had to face. But I would say this year it used to be hard, but once COVID happened and once we had current students and families to help us, we now have over 100 new recruiters helping us. So I want to take this opportunity to thank all of our current students and families for sharing our posts on Facebook and Instagram and for spreading the word to 8th graders and 9th graders that want a better high school opportunity. And so when we had to adapt and we had to change what we did in terms of recruiting, we had a fantastic idea that, you know what, we shouldn't be the only ones talking about Cristo Rey. Let's get our students involved. And so all of our students who are currently on Zoom and Google Hangouts and doing their coursework virtually, we called them in to a recruitment Zoom call. So I have 5 of my student ambassadors on this next video that I'm about to share with you, and they're talking about what makes Cristo Rey Cristo Rey. And so I'm so excited to show you some of our founding students from the class of 2023 helping my team recruit for the next class of 2024. And I just need to give a little shout out because no one else has seen this video. This is hot off the presses. This is the world premiere of our new video with current Cristo Rey Richmond students sharing the Cristo Rey message. So please enjoy. Hi, my name's Katie Yohe. I'm the Director of Recruitment and Admissions at Cristo Rey Richmond High School. Cristo Rey is a new, affordable private school right here in Richmond, and I'm so excited to offer you this opportunity today to learn about our school firsthand from some of our students from the founding class of 2023. And now let me introduce you to some of our Cristo Rey Richmond Royals.
Hi, my name is Arnisha.
Hi, my name is Sochi.
Hi, my name is Rosemary.
Hi, my name is Lynn.
Hi, my name is Olga.
I went to Bouchard Middle School.
I went to All Saints Catholic School.
I went to Fallen Creek Middle School.
I went to Brooklyn Middle School.
I went to Bouchard Middle School.
How is Cristo Rey different from your middle school?
I feel like I have more freedom and I can do more things at my school. We do get to work once a week, and I have a better relationship with my teachers and I can communicate more with them than from my past school.
The classes are smaller and the teachers could concentrate better with the students, and the students have a question for them.
The learning environment is a lot better from middle school. The classes, like Sochi was saying, classes are smaller. The teachers can really pay attention to what my learning needs are.
Can you tell me about maybe one of your favorite teachers and what you like best about him or her?
I can say one of my favorite teachers is definitely Mr. Coach Churchwell, and that's because he's always there to help, regardless if you're in school or out of school. He's going to listen to what you got to say. He's going to let you have a talk, so then he can tell you that what you need to fix.
What has been your favorite memory at Cristo Rey this year?
I don't have a favorite memory. Literally, the whole entire school year was my whole favorite memory. It's a pretty good school, and I really like how everyone has fun, even though while learning. So basically, the whole school year is my whole favorite memory.
I would have to say basketball. I was the only girl in there. It was really fun. I still got hurt, but I got right back up. It was a really good experience.
How would you describe Cristo Rey to someone who has never heard about our school before?
I would describe Cristo Rey as a very different, challenging, but amazing school, especially when we all get to go to college, and how it's comfortable to be around with everyone there because it's a small population, like I always say. You can get along with the teachers a lot, and they'll always be there for you, and it's a lot more attention than what I used to get in public school.
So what can you tell the students about why they should not be nervous or why they should come to Cristo Rey?
Don't be nervous because it's you feel at home when you're at the school.
What has it been like wearing a uniform?
I feel that the uniforms make us look more mature and professional, and when we go to work, it makes us look more professional and more like young adults.
Going off what Rosemary said, I think it does make us look a little more studious. It helps us look the part when we go out to work and we're being a Cristo Rey student.
Thank you for your interest in our school, and if you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at 804-447-4704 or just send us an email to admissions@CristoReyRichmond.org. Thank you.
Apply
now. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of our students and hearing from them about what makes Cristo Rey Richmond Cristo Rey Richmond. I do want to point out before we get into the application process and how students go about attending Cristo Rey, to say that our students, when they're logging on to their virtual classes with our amazing teachers doing amazing work, currently they don't have to be in uniform anymore. And so I know that's exciting. So when I asked our student ambassadors to come make that video with me, I really didn't have to work too hard to convince them to throw that uniform back on. So I really think they enjoyed it. And so I'm not sure it was just the tops and bottoms. I don't want to ask any questions, but I'm thankful for those students, and I hope you enjoyed hearing from them. Before I continue on, I want to make sure if you do have questions that I'm not addressing, that you do comment again below. Please feel free to ask anything about recruitment, admissions, interviews, the future class. We would love to make sure this Facebook Live Coffee with Cristo Rey is catered to what you are wondering about our school. And so for the application process, it's pretty similar to other private schools in our area. The one thing that you always have to remember with Cristo Rey schools is for a lot of our families, this is the first time they've ever had to apply to school. And so again, I'm so grateful for my amazing team, Mr. Timmons and Ms. Granados, because the three of us together truly do journey with our families, accompany our families through this whole process. The application is actually online, and our families have different components that they need to fill out for us. The application, the financial aid application, and uploading specific financial documents for us, as well as getting their transcripts from their current middle schools. We used to be able to check out their report cards, their behavior report, their attendance report, and really get their standardized test scores, and really get a good picture of who these students are and how they were performing in middle school. Unfortunately, with COVID-19, things have changed a little bit. We have sent out over, I would say, 150 emails to some of our middle schools in our area, asking for transcripts, asking for teacher recommendations, and unfortunately we haven't received much. So if you're any middle school teachers out there in the Richmond area and we've been emailing you, please let us know how these students are performing. So because of the lack of information in this new COVID-19 world, we've had to get creative. And so once we get all the documents that the family has, usually in their home or on their phone, which could just be a report card from last quarter, or maybe a screenshot of their Power School current grades when the school's closed, we take what we can get, and then we've adapted our interview a little bit in order for us to probe a little bit more to see what kind of student this is. So you may be wondering, what kind of students are we out there looking for? And really, we don't have an easy answer to this question. The thing that I usually say the most is we're looking for students that want more from an education. We want students that are eager to learn, that are driven and want to go to college, that want to have successful careers. And so each of our students that we accept, and all of our students from the founding class of 2023, had that spark, had that magic in them that showed us that they were the right fit for Cristo Rey. So as we're recruiting this next class, we have a little bit of a better idea about what we're looking for. We love to see great grades on those report cards, so if you're an 8th or 9th grader, keep working hard. Even though school's online, please try to finish this year strong. And so the grades that we're looking for, A's and B's would be fantastic. But I have to admit, some of our students face a lot of struggles in their middle school. Overcrowded classes, teacher turnover rates are pretty high in some of our schools. And so we try to keep that in mind. We don't want to take just what's on the paper to judge these students. And so that's why the interview is crucial. And so we used to do an in-person interview, and we would call it a family interview. We would bring in the parents, guardians, sometimes siblings. I loved when the younger siblings came in. I would ask them what their older brother or older sister were like at home. And so now that we can't do our interviews in person, we've resorted to phone interviews. I know some of the other private schools in the area are able to do Zoom like we're doing here, or Facebook Live, or Google Hangouts, or all these wonderful pieces of technology that are helping us in this new world. However, a lot of our families don't have those kind of luxuries. And some of our families aren't really comfortable with us seeing inside of their homes. And so in order to kind of make our families be as comfortable as possible, as well as our students to be comfortable, think about it, they've never interviewed before. And so a phone interview is really scary for them. And so we do just the phone. So we're talking with the student for usually about 30 minutes or so, asking questions. And since we don't have their report cards all the time and we don't have their standardized test scores, we ask probing questions to try to get a good idea of what this student is all about, what their hopes and dreams are, and can Cristo Rey help them be successful in this world. Remember, the mission of Cristo Rey is to get students not just to college, but through college and into successful careers. So we keep that in mind when we're asking questions. When we finish with just the student on the phone, we then get the opportunity to bring in the parents. And these are some of my favorite questions when you have the family sitting there together. We ask the student what they like best about their parents or their guardians. We ask the parents and guardians what they like best about the student. And we try to get a good picture of the family dynamic. One thing about Cristo Rey that I haven't mentioned is we're not here just for the students. We're here to transform Richmond one student at a time. That's our tagline, yes. But if we're going to do that, we need to keep the entire family in mind. And so we bring them into the interview. We talk with those parents. We make sure we're on the same page. What we do inside our school, we need to be echoed in our homes. And so we have the phone interview, we talk with the students, we talk with the parents together, and then we just chat with the parents. And at the end of that, we have an admissions committee that discusses, is this a Cristo Rey student or is it not? The hardest part of our job is turning students away. And unfortunately, we have to do that. I would say the best part of our job, though, is telling students and families that they've been accepted to Cristo Rey Richmond. So that's our application process. That's our interview process. And I would say one thing that we normally do around this time are we host registration events. We get families enrolled. We ask them to pay their deposit to hold their spot. And we host different events to get to know the student and the family. But with COVID-19 happening, we're unable to do that. So my team is working tirelessly through calls and texts and letters to reach out to these new families and tell them you are truly a part of our community already. Even though your students haven't come in, even though we don't even know if it's going to be a virtual school in the fall or coming to our actual campus, we're letting these families know they are already a part of the Cristo Rey family. And so the events that we had planned, registration days, welcome back picnics, welcome to Cristo Rey picnics, we've had to postpone, but I promise you one day when all this ends, we will be able to meet our families, chat with our families, and welcome them to our school. Now, I think some of you are probably wondering, how are our numbers? Or what's our next class of students? What are they like? Where are they coming from? And so I'll get into the specifics of where they're coming from in a little bit. But I do want you to be able to see some of the faces. You know, the news right now is kind of depressing. We don't know when this is going to end. But what I know is that the future of Cristo Rey Richmond High School is bright. The students that we're recruiting are amazing. We're so excited to welcome them to campus. And so another world premiere for you here today. I want you to check out some of the faces of our new class of Cristo Rey Richmond High School's second class of students, the class of 2024. Exciting, right? I cannot wait to meet some of these students. Unfortunately, for some, we've only talked to on the phone. We've gone through the entire application process virtually, and that's tough. Normally, we had a chance to meet our families and get to know them before we accepted them. And so when this new school year starts, I promise you we're going to have a lot of excited folks in the Cristo Rey community ready to welcome this next class of students. I know our founding students, our first class of students, are also pretty excited for the new students to come in. I know they're great leaders, and we're very excited for them to have the opportunity to lead this next class of students. And so I heard that some folks that are watching here today are interested in some of the clubs and activities and sports that Cristo Rey offers. This is definitely a question that we get asked a lot when we're out recruiting, and so I'd love to touch on it for a little bit. Yes, we have amazing college prep academics. Yes, our students get a real-world work-study experience that no other student in the state is getting. But we also have to be a real high school. We have to have those clubs and activities and sports for the students to get a well-rounded education. And so what was nice about being a new school was we were able to cater the different offerings that we had after school during our after-school program and on weekends to what our students were interested in, whether that was robotics or poetry club or debate. We had all sorts of clubs for our students to engage in. And yes, we even had sports. And so this, again, was dictated by what the students' interests were. And so I know on one of the videos that we showed, you had a chance to hear from Lynn, and she mentioned that she was the only girl on our boys basketball team, and she truly did a fantastic job. We didn't have a lot of girls that wanted to play basketball, so we only started with the boys team. I think I was at almost every game, and I will tell you, nothing says school spirit like watching those Royals on the basketball court. So I don't think our current students are watching. Hopefully they're in class right now, but they did a fantastic job this season. They won a lot more games than other new Cristo Rey teams have done. And so since we have the video, and since you're curious about our sports program, and yes, we had soccer or futsal, yes, we had cheerleaders, but yes, we had basketball. And loving basketball myself, I would love to show you a little bit of what our Cristo Rey boys plus Lynn basketball team was all about this year. Awesome. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I do. I know I've watched it a few times since basketball season has ended because I truly miss watching our Royals out on the court. One of the comments, if you're following the comments that we've received today, is actually from one of my former students, a Cristo Rey Indianapolis alum. So Adrian Turner, I want to give you a shout out right now, and I want to tell everyone who's watching about what a Cristo Rey education could do. So I taught Adrian theology when he was both a sophomore and a junior at Providence Cristo Rey High School in Indianapolis. I did that before I moved back to Richmond to help get Cristo Rey here started. And not only did he graduate from Providence Cristo Rey, but he's soon to be graduating from the University of Indianapolis. He's a social work major, and I keep trying to convince him to move to Richmond so we can have not just one of the greatest social workers ever, but truly a social worker that knows what our students are going through, being a Cristo Rey alum. So Adrian, thanks for joining us this morning. You're amazing. I'm so proud of the hard work that you're doing. I'm thrilled you were able to tune in. Keep working hard, finish strong, and as always, let me know if you need anything. I'm always here to support you. So if there's no more questions, please feel free to continue asking them. This is going to be posted for a while. I can always tune in and jot down the answers. You're more than welcome to email me, call me, whatever you need, whatever you're wondering about Cristo Rey. We would be happy to share our story with you. Oh, sweet, we have some questions coming in. While we're getting those prepared, just so you know, if you know 8th graders or 9th graders who are interested in applying to Cristo Rey, the best thing to do is to call the school 804-447-4704. We may have contact information popping up on the screen. If not, we'll be sure to leave it in a comment. If you're able to send an email, please feel free. It's admissions with an S at CristoReyRichmond.org. That goes to me, and if it is in Spanish, don't you worry. I'm always grateful for Ms. Granados, and I can forward that email to her. Our team would be more than happy to help anyone that you know go through the application process. As I mentioned, for some, it's the first time they've applied, so we are here to help, and I can't say that enough. And for our next question. Awesome. So someone's wondering, where do we get our students? Fantastic question. A lot of people assume that all of our students are coming from Richmond City. And if that was the case, our transportation program would be a lot easier because we do offer transportation, not just to and from school, but to and from work as well. But I think, thankfully, we have students that come from all over. We have students coming all the way from Petersburg. And for those of you that aren't in the Richmond region, that's almost 45 minutes south of us. And so they do what they can do to get themselves to one of our pickup points, and then one of our vans or buses picks them up and brings them the rest of the way to school. We have students coming from Powhatan, from Midlothian, from Henrico, and so all the surrounding counties are pretty much represented in our first class, and that will continue to be with our next class of students. We pull students from all over. I believe we had about 33 different zip codes represented in our first founding class, and we assume that's going to be the same for this next year. Any other questions? Yeah, so folks are wondering where we're recruiting. And again, there's the pre-COVID-19 answer and the post-COVID-19 answer. And so thankfully, we have amazing community partners that help us with recruitment. I do want to give some shout outs really quickly. Not only do we go into the schools, the middle schools, public, a little bit harder for us to get into, but thankfully we have partnered with some amazing after-school programs here in Richmond. I want to give a quick shout out to the Next Up program. It's an after-school program that's sponsored by the YMCA, and they invite us in and we're able to chat with students, tell them about our school, give them flyers, give them brochures, and they take the information home to their parents, and that's how we can get our story shared with the public school students. We also go into private schools. I'd love to give a shout out not just to the Catholic schools, but also Anna Julia Cooper Episcopal School. It's an amazing school doing amazing work in the East End, and fortunately all of their 8th graders apply to our school. I think we've actually accepted over half of their students, and I know a good amount of those students will be joining us in the fall. We have current students from AJC as well. They're a fantastic partner and we love working with them. In addition to going to the schools, the after-school programs, as I said earlier, we really need to be in the community and go where the people are. And so we try our best to go into the neighborhoods. We like to partner with the public housing resource centers. They're fantastic. They take our flyers, they take our brochures, and they're the ones that are really working with the families that we want to serve. And so if they echo what Cristo Rey is all about, then we truly have done our job in getting the word out. But we're always looking for new places to recruit. So please feel free, if you have a connection, if you know of any type of service provider in the Richmond region that would benefit from hearing about Cristo Rey. We can't come to you right now because of COVID-19, but we can definitely set something up with technology or just trying our best to get the word out with the different restraints that we have on us right now. All right, so folks are asking, is our class full yet? And the answer is no, we still have a few remaining spots. So I would definitely stress sooner the better. But with everything that's happened, our numbers kind of took a little bit of a pause when people were still reacting to what this pandemic was going to look like for their families. But definitely in the last couple of weeks, our numbers have picked up. So we have a few spots remaining. So please, 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 if you know somebody, if you are somebody, please reach out, please start that application, and we can help you out. We can help you get it finished and get interviewed so we can make our decision. Our goal is 110 9th graders, and we would love to get up to 10 transfer 10th graders. We have a few 10s already signed on, and I think we definitely have more than a few 9th graders signed on with just a few spots remaining. So it's definitely not too late. If you're ready to apply, please just reach out and let us know. We'd be happy to help you. Awesome. So a lot of the families that we serve, they don't have access to internet and they don't have access to a computer. And so we can't necessarily go to their homes right now because of what's going on, but it doesn't mean they can't give us a call. So all we ask, if they're interested in applying and they're unable to do so on the internet, to just call us. We can accompany them, we can help them with the application, we can fill it out on our end, and they can just feed us the information over the phone. Once this ends and once we're able to meet face-to-face, then we can get together and get the documents signed that need to be signed. And if you're worried about getting all the necessary information from the schools, I mentioned this earlier, please don't worry, just reach out to us. We've made accommodations for different families before, and we will really take whatever we can get, whatever you may have at home, to show us what your student has been able to do in middle school. I hear there's a question about corporate work study. I don't want to steal our director of corporate work studies thunder by any means. Last week on Coffee with Cristo Rey on Facebook Live, our director of corporate work study, Amy McCracken, did a fantastic job talking about our CWSP program, corporate work study program. And so I do encourage any of you who this may be your first week joining us to please go to our website, CristoReyRichmond.org, and click on Coffees. And you'll be able to see the different sessions that we've hosted over the last couple of weeks. I promise you your questions will be answered if you check out the video from last week from Amy McCracken. Her and Ms. Tinsley did a fantastic job talking about our CWSP program, and I'm sure they'll be able to help you out with the information. If you want, you can always send them an email as well. I think it's cwsp@CristoReyRichmond.org. If you don't believe me, which sometimes might be a wise thing to do, just check out our website, and the contact information for our CWSP team is on there. So in closing, I just want to thank all of you for joining us today. It truly was my privilege to be able to share what my team does here at Cristo Rey. We love what we do, as I started off with, and it's been fantastic to be able to answer your questions and share Cristo Rey Richmond with you. Please feel free to keep being on the lookout for the different coffees that we're going to be hosting in the future. And again, check out some of our previous coffees. If you have any questions, just reach out. I hope all of you have a great rest of your day. And before I close, I do want to thank our teachers one more time. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week, and all the mothers out there, and those that hope to be mothers, and those that are struggling to be mothers. Please know we're keeping all of you in our prayers. We're thinking about each one of you. And this weekend, I hope you have the happiest of Mother Days. Thank you so much, and hope to see you soon. Again, if you have follow-up questions, please just comment, reach out, and we'll be sure to be in touch in the near future. Have a blessed day, everybody.